Hi, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use some of the website stuff that we're going to be using throughout at least the first part of this year. We're going to see how to get into a Google Meet, which will be a little bit different than it was last year. And we'll also look at the website that is attached to the curriculum that we're going to use so that um, you can get a feel for what that's going to look like as well. So first of all, to get into a Google Meet, last year, I know that personally, I just posted the link and people clicked the link and it took them there. This year, we have to do it a little bit differently, and this will be the same for all of your classes. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to meet.google.com. When we get here, there's one thing that you really need to make sure of, and that is if I enter my code or my link, or I think we call it a nickname, right down here at this very moment, it's not going to pull anything up. And that's because I am not logged in using my school account right now. I come up here, I have J, that's for my first name, John. Sometimes it's pronounced danger. And I can go and I switch to my school account. It looks a little bit different. Now, this might not look exactly like what yours looks like because you don't have the option to start a meeting. But when you click on there, we have, hey, we can enter our nickname. The nickname for all of my things, anytime you're going to need to get a hold of me, whether it is a scheduled class time, whether it's Wednesday office hours, if it's another scheduled appointment, however it is, it will always be Swanson Math. And then we can continue. And that will allow us to join the meeting. Now, I actually have to be on this meeting um, before you can join. If I'm not there yet, it will give us an error. But hey, look, I'm here. It's almost like I planned this. So we can join now. And here we go. We're in the meeting. So that's how we log into the Google Meets these days. It's going to be go to meets.google.com and then enter the nickname. That's going to change from teacher to teacher, but the process is going to be the same. So the next website that we're going to look at and how to get to is going to be the website that deals with our textbook. So right now I'm on the Clever page, which you guys should all be familiar with at this point. But if not, you can get there through the Stanwood School District. Um, and on this page, mine probably looks a little bit different than yours. The student page and the teacher page are different, but I don't have access to the student page. But there are some apps that you'll see. The Google Meet app, this is another great way of getting to Google Meet, especially if you use Clever a lot. Google Classroom, same thing. Um, Usually to get to those, I go to the little thing called the waffle up in the top corner, which isn't on this page. But those are other great ways of getting there. This Savas Easy Bridge, this is what we're going to be looking at. Couple other useful things. Skyward, that's going to be your student access and family access. That's how you see your grade book or your grades. Um, and so uh, we'll see how you can see grades using these other programs as well, but they're not the official accurate grades. This one is the one that actually matters. They should be close, but they might not be exact. Code.org, hopefully we'll get a chance to use that a little bit. It's great stuff, and you can actually go there on your own. It teaches good coding skills and such, which are really good career skills, good thinking skills. Excuse me, and that's why I would like to um, get to it at some point, maybe in some of those kind of stranger Google Meets when we don't have something else, we can do code. Um, so we're going to go to Savas Easy Bridge. You may have noticed if you get on Clever, I have my own page. I did put this link in there for you as well, just in case it's not somewhere that's easy to find. Now, if I click on this right now, it's going to take me to, it's going to log me in as me, and that doesn't help because my page looks a lot different than your page does. So instead of me clicking on this like you will, I'm going to go to this other window, which I already have it open. It's once you log in, which Clever should do that for you, it's going to look like this. We have our 3 topics here, and those are the same 3 topics as are up here. We can browse, which is looking through the textbook. Classes, this is where you're going to see like your list of assignments and stuff. This is probably the link that you're going to go to the most. And then grades. These grades, again, are not going to be the exact grades and the official grades. They should be close. But if we do something that's not through here, then this only counts as stuff through this site. Um, if we clicked on classes, it'll take us to assignments. I would have put an assignment in here for you, except that this isn't actually mine. This is just a fake account. But there'd be assignments here. You have some in progress. You have some completed. You have your student edition in English and in Spanish. A few other tools, math tools, glossary, Desmos graphing calculator, Desmos. Where does that sound familiar? Oh yeah, remember what we did on the first day, that weird computer stuff? That was Desmos. So learning how to do that, that's the same technology that is going into this. So there's actually a reason why we learn that stuff. It also happens to be the same technology that goes into um, doing the state test. So becoming familiar with that is important in a lot of different ways. I mean, there's a lot of graphing calculators and stuff out there, but knowing the one that's used on the state test and in the book and stuff is just, it's good stuff. So now if we go to browse, let's see what this textbook has to offer us. All right, so we clicked on it. We have topics. What are topics? Topics are just the chapters. They just call them topics instead of chapters. Let's click on the first one. All right, so we have lesson 1-1, 1-2, 1-3. So these are the sections. It gives the title of the section right below it. And if we click on one of them, let's click on 1-1. We're actually not doing 1-1 this year, but if you wanted to, you can go and look. So we have a couple options. We have the interactive student edition. This is the textbook, and it's actually even more special than just a textbook. And then we have this one. We have a few other options. There's Virtual Nerd. A Virtual Nerd is a video lesson. It's a virtual nerd as opposed to me, which would be a flesh and blood nerd. We can talk about that later if you'd like, but yes, I am a nerd. And but this is a different video. It's not the one that I would make for you. It's a different one. And so what this is nice for is that if maybe something I said didn't make sense, these people probably explained it in a different way. So you can have a whole nother method of it being explained to you than just me that matches. It's kind of like going to Khan Academy, except that you don't have to search for a topic and then it doesn't hit the topic perfectly. So these can be hugely useful. All right, now let's go to the interactive student edition. And I will be assigning these interactive student editions to you, not necessarily as an actual assignment, but it's so that they'll pop up and you will be able to do some of the stuff that we're going to look at here once it finally decides it's going to load. My internet is not the fastest, so here we go. All these fun challenges that we face on everyday life. So if you guys ever struggle with your internet and internet speed, you can know that I sympathize and I can relate because, as we see, my internet speed right now at this very moment is super, super slow. Sorry, this is just adding time to the video. I'd tell you how long it would be so you could skip ahead, but I don't know. Oh, there we go. So, um, we have operations on real numbers. We have a few things we can look at. We have the essential question. That's what is the main purpose of this topic? The lesson vocabulary, the state standards that we're matching, what you can do at the end, and then the overview. So you could click on each of these to get an idea of what it's going to be. And then we can click next. Take us to the next page of this. So notice this is not just the book in just scanned and put on here. We have Cindy and Victor are playing a math game. The winner must get 3 in a row of the same type, blah, blah, blah. Can both players say that they won for different reasons? Explain. And then it gives you somewhere that you can type your answers. How nice is that? So why would these people both say that they were able to win? They needed numbers that are alike. So looking at it, the Cindy had 1.3, 2/5, and 27. She could say she won because she used 3 rational numbers. Because 27 is an integer, 2/5 is a fraction, so that's a rational number, and 1.3 is a decimal that ends, so that's a rational number. Victor had 1.3, the square root of 10, and pi. So how could Victor say he won? Looking at it, well, they're not rational. They're not all irrational. They are all real numbers, but that's kind of stretching it. But that would be the justification. We can then go to another page where they're doing the same thing, but can you make other groups using the numbers shown? And we can actually take these and move them. And so we can play the game with them. And again, we can enter your answers. The reason why I will assign this to you is so that you can enter your answers, and then I am fairly positive that it'll save it. And so you'll be able to go back and see it. So you'll have like virtual notes that you have. You don't have to, and maybe you would do it for some topics, but not other topics, depending on the difficulty of the topic. If it's harder for you, the more stuff you can do, the better. If it's something that's really easy for you already and you already know it, it's kind of review, then your notes are going to look a bit different than if it's something that's brand new. Down at the bottom, we have habits of mind. These are on some of the pages. It just tells us things. So Cindy says that 1/3 is an irrational number because the fraction form doesn't terminate. Construct an argument to support or refute Cindy's position. And then you have a notebook option so that you can actually write it down. Well, is 1/3 an irrational number? If you remember when we were back here, I said that 2/5 is rational because it can be written as a fraction. And 1.3 was rational because it ends. Well, 1/3 is a fraction, but it doesn't end because it's going to be a 0.3333 repeating. Remember, a rational number is a number that can be written as a fraction, or it's a decimal that ends or repeats. So if you were to construct an argument, I would refute Cindy's position because it's not irrational. It is a rational number because it repeats, and it can be written as a fraction. which is also called a ratio, which is where the term rational comes from. So then we can continue. We get more, and again, notice there's 2 pages to this. This one, it just gives you a question, and then you have a chance to answer it in your head. Um, we can make sense and persevere. Persevere is a good word. Perseverance, that ability to stick with a problem, is the biggest indicator of success in math. Whether it's Algebra 1 or calculus, the ability to stick with a problem is huge. And hopefully that's something that we will learn or get better at. Because in addition to math, that's one of the biggest indicators of success in life, being able to stick with a problem. That doesn't mean stick with a hopeless situation, but being able to stick with a problem and use logic and thinking and figure it out. And that's what we teach. Not what to think, but how to think. Anyway, so it gives you a question and it gives you a chance to think about it, and then, hey, the solution. Oh, hey, look at that. The next page, it gives you one. You can try it. Enter your answer, and then check your answer. There's a little calculator button down here if you need to type something more than what you can do on the keyboard, as we saw with the Desmos stuff. So that was example 1. The entire textbook is available in PDF form as well, scanned. So you do have the examples as well. This is more the note, like a virtual note space. So we have more questions, kind of the same. That's an application question, operations. But again, same thing. It gives us a question. We can get a solution. Then we can go on to a couple new ones. More. This one has a little video showing us something in this one. Operations. So here's our summary. We're getting close to the end. Then do you understand? The essential question that we didn't look at before, but it's how can you classify the results of operations on real numbers? And so you can enter your answer and then check your answer. And this one, it's not going to tell you right or wrong, definitely, because you're not going to enter something. It's a sentence that you're entering. It's not going to be exact. But when you check your answer, it'll give you their version of the right answer. Does your version and their version match? Not word for word, but in its meaning. And then there's a couple more questions just on, do you understand the topic? Like, it's just a little quick review to make sure that you know. And then next, here's another quick review. This one is more on the can you do it, as opposed to the last one, which was a concept thing. Like, do you know what it is that you're doing? And now it's can you do it? Can you actually do these problems? And then we'd get to the assignment. The assignment will be online, so it'll be just like some of those where you'll be just typing it in. You get one problem per page. Sometimes there's multiple parts to a problem, so you'll have to get one part done before you get to the next. And you'll be able to work the problems as much as you need, because homework is where you make mistakes. And that's perfectly fine. If I didn't expect you to make any mistakes on an assignment, then why would I even have given the assignment? Why would we have done the topic? We would have just skipped it and moved on to something. We don't need to sit and do stuff that everybody knows how to do. So making mistakes on homework, I expect that. That's okay. It's not that you make a mistake. It's, are you going to learn from your mistake? Are you going to look at um, what the hints they give you are and fix it? If you can't, are you going to look at a similar problem? Are you going to ask for help? Are you going to I know some people don't like to ask for help, which is fine. I'm kind of that way. by the time I ask for help, I have tried like 4 different things at least. Like I have gone through the other steps. I've tried other problems. I have looked at the other videos. I have Googled it. I have done all sorts of stuff and I have no more options. And so I'm going to ask for help. That's how I work. That does not need to be how you work. You can, I mean, I am here so that you can ask for help. Um, but that's the whole purpose of homework. It's to make sure that we can do it and then to practice it. Um, so here it says check your assignments, then it gives us the PDF of the homework page. That works. And in fact, the problems that you'll get, like they won't be numbered 1, 2, 3, 4. They'll be numbered like 11, 14, 16, and they'll match what you have in the book. Now, it might not be exactly the same numbers. In fact, your numbers might not be exactly the same numbers as your friend, but the concept is the same. Like the problem is basically identical, it just has different numbers. Um, so that is our textbook website, which I'm excited to use. I did not get to use this last year. I was not teaching these classes, but I am definitely very excited to get into it this year. Everyone loved how it worked. I mean, there were problems that we ran into, but more than anything else, they loved how it worked. And so I am excited. So I will see you in class, but until then, keep working problems, keep asking questions, and as always, happy mathing.